Hello everyone, this is Shweta. This is my third lecture. Today we'll be continuing the semiconductor topics which are left. There are only few topics left in semiconductors. Today I'll be giving you all those topics. What are those topics? Let us have a brief outlook. First one is Fermi level in semiconductors. Fermi level topic is very much important when it comes to semiconductors. Here in Fermi level in semiconductor, this has three categories. One is Fermi level in intrinsic semiconductors, Fermi level in N-type semiconductor, Fermi level in P-type semiconductor. Before going to Fermi level in different types of conductors and materials, first we shall know the meaning of Fermi level. What does this actual meaning of Fermi level is? It is the energy level. What does exactly mean this energy level is? The probability of occupying an energy state by an electron. This is termed as Fermi level. Exactly the probability is 50% at room temperature. This is termed as Fermi level. So next important subtopic under this Fermi level is Fermi-Dirac function. Fermi-Dirac function gives the exact probability of occupying an energy state. It occupies the energy state by an electron. Which occupies the energy state is electron occupies the energy state. At what temperature? At the given temperature T, and it has one definite equation. Probability, that is P of E, gives you 1 by 1 plus this small e is electron capability, E minus EF divided by KT. This KT is the Boltzmann constant, and temperature. This is temperature. This is Boltzmann's constant. And here EF terms energy Fermi level. Next, this is the basic equation we have to know. At exact energy level E, the Fermi level can be defined as probability of energy occupying by an electron is 50%. As I told here 50%, it can be termed as half. This is the important equation. Next we shall move on to Fermi level in particular conductors. First we will discuss about Fermi level in intrinsic semiconductors. Fermi level in the intrinsic semiconductor exactly means that is with respect to the electrons. So for respect to the electrons, first we need to give the equation. Here we have two types of band. In intrinsic semiconductor or extrinsic semiconductor, we will be having two types of the band. One is conduction band and another one is valence band. With respect to these bands, we have to frame the equation. So for conduction band and valence band, there are two different equations. First I will be writing with respect to conduction band, that is small n is equal to capital NC. This is concentration of electrons in conduction band into e to the power of minus EC minus EF divided by KT. This is the first equation with respect to conduction band. Next, how can we explain this same with respect to the p-type material? This is with respect to n-type material conduction band. Next is with respect to p-type and valence band. So here in conduction band, the conducting element will be electrons. So with respect to p-type, we'll be having holes as conducting element. So for equation of this p-type, we'll be representing this as small p nv, because this is with respect to valence band. P-type is with respect to valence band and n-type is with respect to conduction band. Nv into small e minus ef minus ev divided by kT. Since this is with respect to conduction band, this is with respect to valence band. For intrinsic semiconductor, what is the main thing we have to remember is number of electrons and number of holes will be equal to concentration of electrons in intrinsic semiconductor. So how can we write the final equation? We have to combine these both. Since number of electrons is equals to number of holes is equals to intrinsic semiconductor, we can equate holes is equal to electrons is equal to intrinsic concentration. We have to combine these two equations for intrinsic semiconductor. So finally we will be getting EF is equal to EC plus EV, that is conduction band plus valence band, plus KT by 2 into logarithmic function of NV divided by NC. This is valence band, conduction band. This is the final equation. We can define this Fermi level as EF is equal to EC plus EV by 2. Since the effective mass of both these holes and electrons are equal, we can equate this as NV is equal to NC. Then we can understand it more clearly by using energy diagram. Here comes the energy diagram. This is conduction band. This is valence band. Fermi level of intrinsic semiconductor always lies in the middle of the energy band gap diagram. This is Fermi level. This is conduction band energy level. This is valence band energy level. I already told that it is equal. So energy band gap level is equal to conduction minus valence. So conduction band of energy level minus valence band of energy level, where we can mention that EC is the lowest energy level and EV is the highest energy level. Highest energy level of respective bands. This is highest energy level of valence band and this is lowest energy level of conduction band. The Fermi level in intrinsic semiconductor is always lies at the center of the energy gap with respect to the material, and it is irrespective of the temperature of the material. It is dependent only on material. It is not dependent on temperature of the material. So next we will move on to Fermi level in N-type semiconductors. So here in N-type semiconductor, the density occupied by an energy states in the electron is more in conduction band. Density occupied will be more in conduction band compared with valence band. When it is compared with valence band, it has more density. So in previous case we knew that the density occupied by energy states in electrons in valence band is more when compared to the conduction band. So here what happened is, since in conduction band it is more, the Fermi level lies closed near to the conduction band. Fermi level lies close to conduction band. This is the major thing we have to remember. Fermi level lies close to conduction band. Obviously, it lies far from valence band. We can understand this by energy diagram. Here comes the energy band. This is conduction band. This is valence band. This is energy level of conduction band, energy level of this one is donor, and it is Fermi level. Here comes the Fermi level. It lies near to the conduction band. It lies far away from the valence band. So, how can we write the equation for this concentration of electrons in N-type semiconductor material? It is given as small n is equal to capital NC, that is concentration of electrons in conduction band, is small e, that is electron whole to the power of conduction band energy level minus Fermi level divided by kT. For n-type semiconductors also we can find the similarity that small n can be approximated as capital ND, that is donor concentration of electrons. How can we write the final equation is EF is equal to EC minus KT into Ln conduction band, that is conduction band is always with respect to n-type and it is also termed as donor. So we are representing this as KT into Ln of NC by ND. This is for n-type material. For p-type we have to just alter the equation. This can be written as, for p-type, EF is equal to EV plus KT into Ln NV divided by NA. For p-type we have to always remember that it lies near to the valence band and it is also termed as acceptor. So we are mentioning this as NV divided by NA, valence band and acceptor level. Here we can find n-type, it lies near to the conduction band and it is termed as donor type. So this is with respect to the Fermi level. Next we shall move on to Fermi level type in p-type semiconductors. So in p-type semiconductor the density occupied energy state is very less in conduction band and concentration of the holes. So p-type will be the conducting material, it has holes. There in n-type the conduction material was electrons. In n-type conducting material is electron. In p-type conduction material is holes. We have to remember this throughout the semiconductor topic in order to write the equations. So here the Fermi level, since it is hole, the Fermi level lies near to the valence band. Why? Because the density of the energy occupied by the electrons is very less in conduction band when compared to valence band. So this obviously means if it is less in conduction band and more in valence band means it lies close to valence band. By energy band gap diagram we can understand this easily. Here comes conduction band, here it is valence band. This is energy level in conduction band, this is valence band, it is also termed as acceptor energy level. So since the density is more, it lies near to the valence band, so this can be mentioned as EF. This is a simple diagram in order to understand the differences between the Fermi level in p-type and n-type. Now we have to write the equations for this. Since we are writing for p-type, we have to write this as P is equals to, it is with respect to valence band. Since density is more, we are representing this as NV, e to the power of minus of EF minus EV divided by KT. And here for p-type semiconductor we can approximate this as acceptor concentration. This is Na. So how can we write the final equation? EF is equal to EV with respect to valence band plus KT into Ln NV divided by Na. Since the charge carriers are holes, we are representing this as p-type semiconductor as positive. In that equation of n-type, we can see we used to represent it as negative because electrons are negatively charged. So this is the final equation. And here we can easily understand the differences only with respect to the energy diagrams and equations. More easily we can make out in this energy diagrams. Let us discuss one important topic, that is Hall effect. Hall effect, we can observe the diagram here. We have used one semiconductor bar and we have three axes here. Each has different meaning. So now we shall discuss each and every corner of this diagram. Mainly this diagram has three axes: x axis, y axis and z axis. So here x axis we have placed semiconductor bar and y axis has the direction of electric field and this z axis has direction of transverse magnetic field. Next, the main definition of this Hall effect is whenever the specimen or metal or the semiconductor bar carrying a current I is placed in the transverse magnetic field, the magnetic field is represented as B. An electric field E is induced in the direction which is perpendicular to both the current and magnetic field. So this phenomenon is termed as Hall effect. The magnetic field which is induced is directly perpendicular to both the current and magnetic field. So I will be telling the applications of Hall effect. First application is the Hall effect method is used to determine whether the semiconductor is N-type or P-type material. Second application is it is used in the measurement of magnetic flux density. Third application is it is used for measurement of displacement. It is used in measurement of current. Next, it is used in the measurement of power in electromagnetic waves. Next, it is used to determine the carrier concentration. And final application is it is used to find the mobility of the semiconductor. Let us see how this Hall effect method reacts to different types of materials. So let us consider first N-type material. If the semiconductor is N-type material, the current is carried by electrons. Once the current is carried by electrons and these electrons will accumulate on side 1 and the surface becomes negatively charged. So the side 2 will be positively charged. Hence it is a N-type material. Then whenever this small process happens, a potential will be developed and it is termed as Hall potential or Hall voltage. Similarly for p-type material, the charge carriers will be holes. Vice versa, the process happens. That is, surface 1 will be positively charged and surface 2 will be negatively charged. So, as explained above, the carriers will be electrons for n type and holes for p type. This is one simple process of Hall effect. If you like my video,